Hello again, third grade, and welcome to lesson number 1 of S.A.F E class, where we talk about how fires start and grow, and we talk about fire science. So to understand how fires start and continue to grow and continue to burn, we need to understand the fire triangle. Fire triangle has 3 parts, the first of which is fuel. Fuel is anything around us that can catch on fire. It could be the furniture in your classroom or at home in your house, your tables, your chairs, couch, bed, anything like that. It can be your clothes. It can be toys. It can be your electronics like your TVs, video games, and cell phones. Anything that can catch on fire and continue to burn is considered fuel. But for that fuel to ignite, it has to have heat. Now, heat can come from obvious things like matches or lighters, candles, our stovetop and our oven. These are things that we know are hot and can accidentally cause fires. Some other things that are less obvious are things like your electronics. Anything that runs on electricity can generate heat. When you charge your cell phone, electricity creates heat inside of your cell phone. So there's a lot of different sources of heat that's around us. Some are obvious and some are not so obvious. The last thing that we have to have present is oxygen. Now, oxygen is present in the air all around us all the time. The air that you're breathing right now is about 21% oxygen. The rest of the air is made up mostly of nitrogen and a few other gases like hydrogen and carbon dioxide. But for us to breathe and maintain life, we need oxygen. And a fire also needs oxygen. By understanding fire needs oxygen, we can safely extinguish some fires without using water or a fire extinguisher. Fires can be divided into 3 basic types, and you may see labels like this printed on the side of a fire extinguisher. The first type is ordinary combustibles, and that's the things that we already talked about, like our furniture, our clothing, books, toys, and things like that. The second type is flammable liquids. Flammable liquids, of course, are things like gasoline, diesel fuel, that you might use in the car or the lawnmower. Or it could be things like oil and grease that we use to cook in our kitchens. Flammable liquids cannot be mixed with water, and so water cannot be used to put out a flammable liquid fire.
If your chip pan catches fire, don't panic. Just follow these instructions. 1. Turn off the heat. 2. Run a cloth under a tap and wring it out. 3. Cover the pan and then wait until it's cooled right down. Don't try and move the pan, and whatever you do, don't throw water over the fire.
The third type of fire is an electrical fire. This is when something that runs on electricity is still actually plugged in and working on electricity. If you take the electricity away, then it becomes a normal Class A ordinary combustible fire. But as long as electricity is still present, it's considered an electrical fire, and you cannot use water to extinguish those types of fires. There's a chance you could be electrocuted. We only use water on Class A ordinary fires. The most common cause of fires in our homes is accidents in the kitchen involving cooking. Almost half of all the fires that occur in the United States each year are caused by cooking in the kitchen. The next greatest cause of fires is electrical fires. Like we talked about earlier, things that run on electricity generate heat, and sometimes the electronics fail, or sometimes we plug too many things into one outlet and try to pull too much electricity through a wire that can't handle that much power. That creates a lot of heat and can cause a fire either in the appliances that we're using or in the wiring that's inside of our walls. Another large cause of fires is heating equipment, things like the furnace that we use in the wintertime, or space heaters that we might use in our house to keep one bedroom warm. Smoking, or accidents with cigarettes, cause about 5% of the fires in the United States every year. Candles also cause a few fires every year. By far, most fires are caused by accidents, but some fires are intentionally set. Arson, which is an intentionally set fire, accounts for quite a few fires every year, but there are far more accidental fires than intentionally set fires in the United States. Fires in our homes today grow much faster than they did many years ago. Today, you may only have 3 minutes to escape before the entire house is full of smoke or before the fire spreads and you can't get out. 40 years ago, you had 15 minutes or more to get out of your house safely. But because of the change in materials that we use to build our houses, and especially because of the changes in materials in our furniture and our contents of our houses, fires grow much faster and they create a lot more smoke. This is a comparison of how quickly fire spreads in new, modern furniture like we live in today versus furniture from 40 years ago. The room on the left, the furniture is made of wool, cotton, and solid wood. Whereas the room on the right, the furniture is made of modern synthetic materials such as nylon, polyester, and processed wood. Within 2 minutes, you can see how much more smoke is being created in the fire on the right. This is because the synthetic materials like nylon and polyester are made mostly of chemicals and create much more smoke and burn at a much higher temperature. Within 3 minutes, the room is almost fully involved in fire. The room on the left has a very small fire which could easily be extinguished with a simple fire extinguisher. The room on the right is totally on fire. As the video continues, it takes as much as 30 minutes for the room on the left to be completely on fire. This shows how much faster fires move through our homes today than they did many years ago. In our next lesson, we will talk more about smoke detectors and other ways to stay safe while we are sleeping.